Hi, I'm Nan Simonsen, and I am so glad to be back. I haven't been live for quite a while. I've done lots of videos on YouTube, but I haven't done a Facebook Live. And hello. I am on today because on January 9th, turned 72, and I was interviewed by Chef AJ. And it was to celebrate my 72nd birthday, but it was also to celebrate 2 years, almost to the date, from the date that Aging Powerfully was published, and it was to celebrate the new audiobook that was just released, in essence, 2 years later. So I turned 72. I had written a book 2 years before. The audio version came out 2 years later. And I was doubling down. I was doubling down on my message from Aging Powerfully. And let me tell you what I mean by that. Powerfully, in this book, of memoir, partial memoir, but mainly directive on how we can live into our, well, decades longer than we would expect by making decisions on a daily basis that affect our health and our well being and our longevity. And how do we do that? We do that with understanding that lifestyle will dictate how we end up living that life. There is a arm of medicine now called lifestyle medicine. It's been offered by the College of Lifestyle Medicine, and many doctors are becoming certified, board certified as lifestyle medicine doctors, or at least adding that to their practice. The Sherzais, Dean and Aisha Sherzai, are lifestyle medical board certified, although they're both neurologists with their own medical lab at the Loma Linda University Hospital, and Dr. Bolshewitz, who wrote Fiber Fueled and the Fiber Fueled Cookbook, both excellent directives on how we can live longer based on information we know about our microbiome. He's a gastroenterologist. Well, she is also board certified in lifestyle medicine. I can go on and on. I work for one of the founding members of the College of Lifestyle Medicine, Dr. Wayne Dysinger, who has a practice here in Riverside, California, and I have been a health coach in that practice going on 5 years now. So I've seen a lot. I've seen patients come in with intractable chronic illnesses that had been and have been ameliorated because of lifestyle choices that we offer. And it's not difficult. It's simply being aware of what makes a difference in our health. So, what I was going to say about my book, the word powerfully is an acronym. The first 5 letters, power, Power, and my goal at 72 is to age with power for decades longer. I don't see this as the beginning of the end. I see this as a beginning of another 10, 20, 30 years of vibrant health, because I live with those tenets of lifestyle as medicine. The last 5, fully, Fully, I garnered by pulling together so many experts like Dan Buettner and his Blue Zones, the longest living people in the world, and Dr. Turner, who earned her PhD thesis working with terminally ill cancer patients, over 1,000 of them, who went on to become disease free because they made choices that she cataloged, or I'll say cataloged, into 9 commonalities of what kept them not only from progressing in the diseases they were told they were terminal in, but also overcoming them and moving beyond them. And this was for decades longer. So, Fully is 5 more lifestyle modalities that I recommend. Well, I'm taking those first 5 because those are part of the College of Lifestyle Medicine's recommendations. And I am breaking them into 3 parts, and that is a 3-part class series. I decided that I have my greatest, I'll say, influence by giving people for free information that they can take and use and turn their lives around. In Aging Powerfully, in the back of the book, I vow to spend the rest of my days offering people information that can help them live beyond what they ever would without not only that information, but also a way to make it happen. So I decided when I was celebrating my 72nd birthday that I would offer 3 free Zoom classes that will cover the pillars of lifestyle medicine. The first one is on purpose and movement. The first class is February 9th. The second class is February 16th. And the third class is February 23rd. And what I'm offering during those courses is a breakdown of what the pillars of lifestyle medicine are. And I'll give you here and now the 6 pillars as the College of Lifestyle Medicine puts it out. They are food and food choices, in other words, nutrition. And they recommend as close to nature and as close to fully plant-based as possible. Number 2, movement. How by moving our bodies and moving them regularly and moving them daily can make a difference in our not only physical health, but mental health and emotional health and longevity. We're looking at community. Did you know that being involved with others, having others in your life, not allowing yourself to become isolated, which was one of the greatest problems during COVID, can give you years to your life, can bring you through illnesses that you otherwise may not survive. And we're looking at resilience, rest and sleep, the stress relief that is necessary to be able to, well, what we call rest and digest, rather than the opposite of that, which occurs in our adrenal system, where we are so wired up that rather than digesting, rather than relaxing, rather than being able to calm our system, we are on high alert and ready to, as we used to, run from the tigers, run from the woolly mammoths. In other words, these are all pre-programmed in our systems as human beings. Well, I put those together in these 3 classes on the February 9th at 10 o'clock. I'm going to start with, though, purpose, because none of this matters if you don't have a clear idea of what it is you want from life and why. The movement that we'll talk about will be rather specific in terms of how you can get in the recommended movement on a daily basis that can take you into, again, decades longer than you would without it. Some people don't think it really matters. It matters tremendously, and I'll tell you why. When we get to food and nutrition, which will be the February 16th class, I'm letting that, well, it's going to be an hour and 45 minutes for each of these courses. 10 to, well, actually an hour and 15 minutes, 10 to 11:15. I'll, during that February 16 meeting, put a lot of information in front of you about whole food, plant-based dietary choices, but also just good, balanced ways that you can, regardless of what you eat, nourish your body far better than you would be without the information and without those choices. And then finally, on February 23rd, We'll talk about sleep. We'll talk about stress relief. We'll talk about community and what that can mean to you in terms of, again, uh, putting more years into your life, but also loving every one of those years. So I wanted to put that in front of you. I want to invite you to join me. If this sounds like something you'd like to do, simply meet us in a Zoom space, or you don't actually have to register for the classes afterwards, because we will be recording them on Zoom, and our intention is to then put them on YouTube, and I have somebody working on how we're going to do that, but I believe that shouldn't be any problem at all. But if you want to join us on Zoom live, simply write me at Aging Powerfully with Nan, Aging Powerfully with Nan at gmail.com. Aging Powerfully with Nan at gmail.com. And I'll send you the overview of what we're doing again, and I'll send you the link that you can use to get into our Zoom meetings. I hope to see you. I hope you'll join us. I know that having celebrated, and I celebrated a few months before my birthday, but having celebrated the upcoming 72nd year of my life with a half marathon, I know, had I not been involved with lifestyle medicine, had I not been aware of these tenets that I prioritize, and I'm going to use that word a lot, prioritize these things in your life. Had I not, my husband, who is 70, me, who is, and I, who is 72, we wouldn't be able to do the things that we do. I look around me and I look at our, I'll say, American population, and if you're in other countries, those who are eating and living the Western lifestyle, in most cases, are not faring well. We start to see disease accumulate in the 40s and the 50s, pain and disablement in the 60s and the 70s, and it's downhill from there. It doesn't have to be that way at all, and I'll show you how. I hope you're having a great day. I know I am. Let me know if there's anything in advance that you would like to know about, and questions that you would like me to address. Hi, Cindy. Good to see you. And I will hopefully see you then. Bye-bye. And by the way, thank you for tuning in. Bye-bye.